Finally, I've been waiting to see this. We've saw a couple, but usually in this conversation, we're talking about how many Ogrims we're watching on screen. And also Wushang earlier, we saw one where there was 3 in the match earlier today, but they've been separated. Wushang has been one of the best Spirit Legends to go for in 2s because of how great not only his setup tool is, but his gauntlet sigs and how easy they are to confirm. But Ogrim was not as seen this weekend. We're seeing it pop up back here with Mounir.
Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like you can really feel the differences between the regions. Like, we did see a little bit of Wushang, but it was in the form of Chun-Li coming out from Boomy a little bit earlier. And then on the other side of things, in EU, they seem to love this blacksmith because he's been popping up everywhere on the EU side of things. When you come to South America, where did all the Ogrims go?
Which is, that trips me up so much because they are one of the big innovators of how strong Lance works in 2s. Right now, that Axe gameplay as well, it's so good for lining up perfectly on not just the Cole stocks out, but they just meant that they tried to go D-Sig into D-Sig follow-up, but they take a big punish for it instead.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of this already just from the last set, right? We saw Luna and Snowy kind of rocking a similar team composition here, but even with Mounir and Neeze trying to kind of combat the...
Wanted it a little too hard. He wanted to get that early KO. And if he gets it, he gets a yellow KO in that situation. But you throw one away in the red, not too big of a deal.
We'll see. I mean, Tox ticking here. Mounir already, you know, pretty hurt, but still has 3 stocks in comparison to everyone else. Made an experience trying to do the meta thing here, but it doesn't seem to be paying dividends quite yet. Looking to see if they end up kind of regaining their composure and pushing a little bit further.
Did you say Tox ticking a second ago?
I might have, yeah.
That's the new app. Download that later for all the Brawlhalla highlights. So right now we're going to get a KO off the bottom there. Answering back pretty quickly. Made an experience, of course, like you said before, they're a very good late game core because they kind of wake up a bit and they get real explosive. But the biggest thing is making sure you check and keep them locked, because you will see moments where Experience is like frustrated in his gameplay and he'll kind of back off a bit. You need to stuff that out as early and as often as possible, and that's what the team from EU is doing incredible at right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can already see Maid and Experience trailing behind by a decent chunk right now, trying to get these openings. Experience looking for something here, moving around, dash landing, dashing back and forth, trying to mix up the opposition here. That recovery isn't going to be enough to take out Neeze, and Neeze gets the back hit of that Wushang Spear Ensig to go ahead and keep him out of harm's way. It seems like nothing's working out for the blue team. Finally, a side air is going to get that stock, but Mounir might be able to get a reversal stock on Experience. Not quite, but I love the idea.
That scared the hell out of me. I see Ogrim all the way out there. It's like a side air is inbound, or maybe a GCD sig that you're not ready for, and that just will trip you up every time. But Experience has already been knocked out. Made shortly to follow. It looks like here he's gonna find his way down, but for how much longer?
Yeah, I mean, he was saying earlier that he was pretty tired, and that, you know, when he's tired, that he plays better. But I'm wondering if today we might see a different tale unfold before our very eyes here, as we already watch as Neeze and Mounir take game 1 in a relatively convincing fashion. It wasn't dominant, but it did feel like it was going their way the entirety of the time, and they just kept a consistent momentum throughout.
Yeah, that's the thing we were talking about before with Maid and Experience. They're very momentum based. It's a very cliche thing to say, but they are. And when you were getting stuffed out by 722 damage by Mounir, and Neeze just barely missing, cracking out at 500 with 458, it's not easy to deal with. And this is why we talked about how Ogrim is so strong in these positions. He breaks up a lot of what you want to see out of the Zonics by getting a lot of setups, by being a little bit too comfortable down there on that bottom stage.
Yeah, it's already a bit of a red flag if anyone in 2s is doing like over 600 damage, but the moment you start hitting 700, 800, you really got to ask, what's going on here? Why is our defense being cracked so easily? So hopefully going to this next game, we'll see Experience and Maid strike back a little bit stronger, and that was almost a stock right there from Experience. Couldn't line up that ground pound in time. That would have for sure been enough, and it's moments like that where they need to capitalize. You can't drop too many of those.
Yeah, it's good team communication, at least at minimum, making sure you're picking up those moments where you can't. Experience was there to get the hit. Won't find the nair off the top, but see if he can maybe close it out. No, he's going to get reversed himself. Mounir's self-awareness in those situations has been so good, and both the blue team fall as Neeze closes it out as well.
Yeah, and honestly, it's really like the difference of small moments where consistency is being called into question, where Neeze and Mounir just seem to be executing every single time, but on the side of Experience and Maid, oh my, imagine.
All right, he's definitely feeling himself for good reason. With how much damage he did in that last game, trying to go for that GC side take all the way up in the top of the skies, that'll send a mental note of damage to you that's really hard to recover from.
Like, getting hit by a steel chair up there, bro, like, it's gonna hurt. Oh my gosh. And then stocks are flying continually. Experience just manages to get one back with that cannon ground pound. If you can get a quick one on Mounir here, that's actually a great string of damage from Experience to go ahead and make things feel a little bit more feasible, but they're still trailing by a stock.
And Neeze and Mounir have just been just amazing at breaking everything up. And right there, even you saw Mounir was actually going to go for the combo. He realized it wasn't in a good spot, but because the dodge went back, it was a free punish there for Neeze. So they're recognizing that's not worth it. I'm going to get hit. Let me let you rock. And that has consistently been a thing they've been doing better so far over Maid and Experience.
Ooh, the side air is going to go ahead and come out from Neeze to secure yet another stock onto Experience. Maid and Experience have yet to have a moment in this set where they've been in the lead, have been on the back foot the entire time. Experience manages to get a ground pound, maybe 2 stocks here. Okay, the nair and the ground pound to follow because we saw that dodge get burned earlier. That was simply another day in the life of Experience, and now we have ourselves a game.
That will get the defib out as well, get some life back in you because it was looking like it was not running too hot for them, and they're bringing it all the way back. Experience just missing that side and trying to finish, but he used a lot of resources. He needs Maid to help him out. He does get back. This might be an opportunity to get Mounir. He gets the ground pound. That's 1. Neeze now has to fight a 2v1 when they were in a huge lead to start off the game.
We were saying that Maid and Experience are an explosive team, right? And in this game, we're not going to see the team combo right there, but Experience has truly made the difference in this game too. I mean, look at the consecutive hits here. They are simply looking for 1 D-Light from Experience. It's going to lead to the neutral layer, and that'll be the stock. Or you just go for the neutral sig. Hey, keep it simple.
At that point too, we talked about it. It's about keeping Experience in check because once the cannon starts popping off, once he starts popping off in general, bad things happen because Maid is so good at lining up to make sure Experience will go for those big plays because he likes to get a little risky off stage when he can. He was always in the fray, and then it started to work. Once he started to find those reversals off stage to help Maid out, they started to get more confident, and it was 575 damage supported by Experience that time compared to both of them collectively taking over 500, near 600 each in that previous game.
Maid's gamer tag isn't made by coincidence. He's ready to clean up at any moment that Experience sends that pass over. And so at this point, you gotta sit back and be like, wait, hold on. Yeah, this team actually kind of filthy though, you know?
For how few years of time he has in it, Experience has a whole lot of it. That is something he has been prepared for every single time. We talked about it earlier, one of the things is you need to believe you are the best person in the room at any given time. That is that young man right there, and that is that team core that they have, making them bring that back in game number 2.
And at this point, I mean, already trailing behind in this game number 3, I think Neeze and Mounir kind of got hit by a bit of a wake-up call after getting KO'd in that second game. And now we're saying, listen, we don't want a repeat of that, but Experience still able to get these edge guards on cannon. That's going to be 1 stock falling right there. Neeze trying to, get something going here, but there's a bit of a 2v1 that can happen here. And Experience covers 1 option, and then the delayed coverage from Maid leads to this stock being taken. We were talking, Maid will clean up after you, bro.
That's also the very first time they've had a lead all set prior to that late game comeback. They've started the game now with an actual lead. Maid falls shortly after, but you can see the tempo's changing with this big opportunity to go for the combo, and they delete Experience and say, let's go ahead and change the picture back in our way. The script is written for EU.
This is the way we do it. That's what we play 2s for. That's what we like to see in 2v2s. There's 2 of y'all. Y'all better be doing some combos, and we just got delivered. But Experience is still going crazy in the bottom part of the stage. Somebody stop this kid. He's too young. How did he have so much to do?
That rebuttal was everything you could have asked for if you want to see Maid Experience pick it back up. He had just got destroyed and said, let me run that back real quick. Let me calm you down. I still got it. Right now, Neeze is the only one who's still sporting that second stock, but for how much longer, Flambo?
You ask for a sentence, Maid and Experience give you a paragraph. You ask for a paragraph, they give you an essay. And that's not something that you can have happen at this moment, but despite that, they are actually behind. As I say that, the stocks get taken. Everything's back to even. There is a little bit of a damage deficit here, but really, if any team combo happens at this point, that team is winning the game.
It's right now on Mounir to say, you reach out.
Oh, there it is.
To put that F on that report if he can, and they do, as they get rid of Experience. That is now 1 more away from them bringing this up to a 2-1 lead, and that is already not looking too good for Maid.
Yeah, Maid, I mean, at this point, you want to collapse on a Mounir, right? Has the most damage, want to set up for that one. If you get an early stock here, that would be phenomenal, but it's not going to happen, and you see the conversion into the neutral signature from Neeze to go ahead and close that one out. We have ourselves a match.
Option coverage. Neutral sig to cover the low recovery down. You go high, you get caught by Axe. You try to hang out there too long, you are now out of options, and then you get jumped by both. What is the option? The answer is lose, as they move up 2-1.
That was a beautiful display there, despite moments of, you know, brilliance is what I like to call it, from Maid, and especially experience. It still wasn't enough, because this was effectively a game of rebuttals. Anything you do, I can do better. You say this, I give you a 32 bars of why I can do it better than you, and they just have not been able to get, oh my, I'm looking at the damage graph.
Speaking of bars, the amount of time that the stocks lasted for experience were so short. It seems like he didn't do much that game, but he was in the middle of the fray the whole time, but he was getting KO'd so early each time because of that team combo, because of that reversal off stage, and that kind of made it so that comeback threat that they had was just eliminated because they were already down 2 so quickly.
Yeah, now this is the point where it's like, put all that practice you was talking about into practice, right? Maid gets one with that ground pound, just trying to cover, almost gets that, and the end like to follow. No touch from Neeze. A ground pound from Maid would have been immaculate in that position, but instead was zoning Mounir off on the stage. But another stock lost for the red team here. Maid and Experience are answering the exact way they need to.
Neeze fought forever, too. He got that unarmed scythe, he got the unarmed sig. He was able to continue to keep himself off stage safely, but Mounir now in the mix of it, trying to see if he could sneak one out on Experience, but Experience doing much better holding on to his first stock. Maid's gonna catch him.
Oh,
no! Experience jumps in the way, thought he was maybe gonna get the follow-up, but gets caught himself.
Yeah, just a little bit too early on the positioning there, ends up getting caught, but still a lead for Maid and Experience as Maid gets another signature to go ahead and push Mounir into the corner. Oh, almost a conversion to the unarmed side air as well. The blue team is looking so crisp in the driver's seat.
You talk about Maid getting ready to clean up at every time. That first stock was overtime. He was getting his extra hours in, but he does finally fall. But in exchange for that, they not only get rid of Mounir, but shortly after, Neeze, Flambeau, at the moment, it's feeling like we see that game number 5.
Yeah, I mean, for certain, it's feeling like, I mean, you're looking at the same stock count that we're looking at. Maid and Experience have lapped Neeze and Mounir, but they are not out of this neck of the woods quite yet. But with Experience getting 3 hit strings like that, with this much of a lead, it's getting that much closer.
As long as they can make sure they don't get team comboed like last time, they might be able to make sure this lead stays where it is. Neeze trying to catch him off stage, maybe looking for a ground pound soon. Nope, decides to go for a slide cancel, but Experience not jumping up too early to get caught by it.
And Maid able to find a cheeky way back onto the stage. Almost got a conversion right there. The weapon throw interrupts the signature, but it doesn't matter. Maid and Experience force the game number 5.
With that 4 stock to close out game number 4, the damage has been back and forth each individual time I've looked at the chart. It's been who the winning side has 500 plus each, losing side barely cracks over 300. Same thing happened again here in number 4. It has been back and forth, but now the ball is in Maid and Experience's court to try and replicate that success, because each time this has happened, Neeze and Mounir have answered back. But the pressure is on. Main stage, game number 5, that much closer to getting into top 16, a few rounds away from that revisit over to that top 8 seat they've already been at. Can they do it? It depends on if the all-star crew of Neeze and Mounir have something to say about it. Game number 5 here at top 32.
And the tough part about game number 5, it feels like the past 4 games don't even matter. It feels like a best of 1, because this is for all the marbles. And at this point, we're seeing if Maid and Experience got the lead in the same way they did the last time, it did not look good for Neeze and Mounir. So they need to mitigate that early.
Yeah, it went from a close game to a beatdown, and they need to make sure that does not happen again. We're gonna switch things up here by going to Lions instead. A little bit more room to try and hang out off the sides. I feel like they were getting ground pounded and uncomfortable over there quite a bit that last match.
You can already see at this moment, Mounir gets hit by a bit of a punish Experience, almost able to follow up with an extended combo, but gets 1 hit. Still good enough. So much interrupts happening on the sides of both teams, but it still ends up being Maid and Experience getting the better brunt of all the damage.
And Neeze missing out on, I believe, 3 neutral sig attempts just to try and catch a scramble, but instead, he's not in the position to help out Mounir. That is the first one falling there for the red team.
Okay, and things are looking real good for Maid and Experience yet again here. They're trying to answer back as quickly as possible. You don't want this gap to exist for too long. I mean, take one more hit onto Maid, a couple more onto Experience, so you can bring them down to their second stocks, but hits are hard to find right now as Maid and Experience almost convert into a 2v1 onto Mounir, but just a little bit not quite properly positioned.
And the first time that both of the blue team have sported their 3 stocks, it does fall there, but they had both of them together at the beginning of the match, but it falls quickly after, so not too big of a deal it's looking like for the red team.
Yeah, you can tell both of these teams are like, I need to hang on to my winner's side BCX life, because I know that if I get set down to the elimination side of bracket, it's going to be so much harder. There's so many good players down there, and you can see that's going to be a huge hit, and the arrows, we get a slide charge on the side zig, and that's going to be 2 stocks falling back to back as Maid and Experience force their way into the lead.
Happy birthday to you, as that was a present. We got both of them at the same exact time, and the blue team barely even in the red window. They have to answer back if they want to get rid of Experience. They got to do it now, but Experience is fighting. He gets reversal off the side or off stage. They decide to go and make the power play attempt at Maid, but Maid with that amazing movement getting away from all of it.
Yeah, now we're coming down to the point here where it's like, you really have to answer now if you're Neeze and Mounir. That wasn't quite enough. Oh wait, what a pass! Hold on!
Ooh.
We get both of them taken out at the same time. They send the message back to sender, and we have ourselves a tie battle.
The crowd has formed, and game number 5, pressure is on everyone, essentially around pretty similar damage. Maid finds the first Sarah. Experience looking for a follow-up off stage. He does not have a weapon, but he gets access to the cannon now. It's not looking too good.
One. The weapon throw was godlike, but it's not enough.
It.
What do you do here if you're Neeze?
And so
How do you win?
Hope they hit each other. You need to try and sandwich yourself almost between them to get them to hit each other. That's one, but that does not work enough. The nair won't be enough off the top, and Neeze in a terrible spot.
Oh, and the next D-Light from Experience is going to be enough. He throws the weapon away. That kind of gives Neeze a chance here. Waiting for the spawn. There it is, but it goes to Experience. Gets the side light. Only side lights now. You go for end light, you lose the match. He knows this. Can't go for end light. Oh, double side light on both members of blue. Neeze is playing out of his mind, but is it going to be enough? The side light, the chase dodge away. He doesn't want to get caught by Experience, but it's not enough. Maid and Experience are going to be moving on forward in the winner's side of bracket.
Neeze was piecing them up, but you can only do it for so long.
Yeah.
Trying to get them to hit each other as often as possible. He was dodging everything, but it was at that window that one nair will take you out, one recovery from bow will take you out. You jump too much, you're getting caught, and that's exactly what Maid waited out. He knew at some point that he had to go vertical because you can't stay on the ground too long in between the two. He finally got the read on it, was able to shut it down, but that was looking like for a second Neeze was gonna make that happen.
Yeah, no, it was definitely